Today's guest is Peter Berryman, who also featured on episode 22 of this podcast. He is the current president for the ATMS, the Australian Traditional Medicine Society, and he talks to us today about the Woodford Folk Festival, where the ATMS sponsored a tent of homeopaths to help out at the 6-day and 6-night event, where they treated a whole variety of different conditions and they saw around 300 patients. Now, if you are a homeopath or a student interested in helping out at the next event, which will be on December 27th, then do get in touch with Peter at peter.berryman@atms.com.au. And it certainly sounds like a super fun event and a great way to see in the new year. So thank you so much for sharing your time today, Peter, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangouts. Today, we are speaking with the lovely Peter Berryman, who is the current president of the ATMS and also a return guest. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be listening to Homeopathy Hangout. Love to be with you, Eugenie, again.
I've been looking for an excuse to get you back on the show, and I have to tell our listeners it was so funny. I was just Facebook messaging Peter saying, hey, can we talk a bit about the Woodford Folk Festival? And you were such a good sport. You say, yes, let's do it now. So you guys are getting the unedited, unscripted version right here, right now of us having a chat about the Woodford Folk Festival. Now, firstly, can you tell us a little bit about what the Woodford Folk Festival is? It's on the other side of Australia. I haven't been there myself. Where is it? What is it? What's the deal?
Well, don't get upset if I say it's Australia's best music festival, because you've got festivals in every state and territory around Australia. But that was a quote from a long-term performer who'd done them all and has done them for 30 plus years. And okay, he said it to me at the Woodford Folk Festival, but darn heck, I think that 6 days and 6 nights of full-on party is just amazing. And it's in that niche window between the 27th of December every year. And I came home on the 2nd of January. So the 1st of January is a full day and has a special evening on the 1st of January. They call it their fire ceremony before people leave on the 2nd of January. So it's just amazing. Where is it? Okay, it's just on the outskirts of a town called Woodford. So they call it Woodfordia. Woodford is near Caboolture, which is a northern suburb of Brisbane. So from my place in Fortitude Valley in Brisbane, it's about an hour and a quarter drive to get there. And it's on a converted dairy farm. So they've had this property, I don't know, for maybe 25 years of the 36 years that they've been running it. And the last 2 seasons they cancelled due to the pandemic. So the last season we did was 2019. And so we're very keen to go back this season, 2022, 2023. And it was fabulous.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I didn't realize it's 6 days. That's really full on.
And 6 nights. Don't forget the 6 nights.
Wow. So, and tell our listeners, what were you doing there? So you're the president of the Australian Traditional Medicine Society. You're a homeopath and astrologer and all this. I don't know. You've got so many different natural health modalities. What were you doing there?
This was my 13th season working as a volunteer. We have a free homeopathic clinic.
Wow.
We have 3 shifts a day. It's a 5-hour shift per person. We have enough staff. This season we had 8 practitioners and 5 students, all to do with homeopathy. Some were naturopathic students or naturopathic practitioners with excellence in homeopathy. And we were rostered on to cover from 9 o'clock in the morning through to about 10 p.m. in the evening. And over the 6 days, we saw 300 plus patients.
Wow.
For free. Now, they were asked to give generously in our donation bins. We had 5 of those strategically placed around our 6 by 6 meter square clinic, which was beautifully decorated and partitioned. We had a dispensary area, we had a reception area, we had consulting areas, lovely decorations all around to make it attractive to get them in, because our signage on the front said free homeopathy. It's like free Tibet, you know.
Mm.
No, it wasn't. We are free and we're doing excellent work. But we've got history. I mean, we've had 14 sessions over 16 years we've been doing there. The Australian Homeopathic Association Queensland branch initiated this with my colleagues back then. So I've been there since the beginning. And folks who kind of were running it have moved on. And in 2019, ATMS had the chance to pick it up because AHA Queensland let it go, and we didn't want to stop. So ATMS picked it up, provided us with some generous sponsorship. Thank you, ATMS. And combined with the very generous donations from our patients, we've made a small profit.
Yay!
So covered our costs, because once upon a time, the Woodford Folk Festival covered all of our costs, but they stopped doing that. So now we pay for everything. We pay for the site, for the tent, for the electricity, for the water, for the garbage. We have to deposit this, we get checks on all our electrical devices. It's not cheap. And so we've covered our costs and made a small tidy profit to go towards our costs next season, on the assumption that everything goes well and we'll be back again. And because we've been kind of part of the furniture there, we get people who regularly go to Woodford who now regularly come in for at least their annual checkup with us. Don't you remember me from last year? Yeah, I remember you had blah, 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 blah problem. And here you go, here's some more blah, blah, blah. And they love it. And then they go out there and they spread the word, because we get excellent clinical improvement. We get great outcomes, because I'll tell you some of the tricks we do to get clinical outcomes in 6 days and 6 nights. And they go and tell their friends, and we get referrals from the, 45,000 people who are at the festival.
Is it that many that attend?
Yes.
Wow.
And then they get day people as well who come just for the day or several days, but you don't have to go for the whole 6 days, because we camp on site. This year we were camping in what was called the Grand Canyon, which is a beautiful area. It's not flat though, so we were sleeping on a line, which is interesting. Up near, there was a venue, the largest venue this season was called the Grand, so that's why we're in a canyon nearby called the Grand Canyon. We used to camp in a place called the Prairies, which was very flat, but a long way away. We had to catch a little minibus to get from the camping site to the festival site. It's big.
That's massive. I didn't realize the scale of it. It's far out.
Yes. Well, the thing is, the pricing for the public to attend is exceedingly cheap for a family to go with kids, young kids. It's free for babies. It's only about $40 for young children under 13. And then for youths, it's about $300. For adults, it's about $600 and something dollars.
For the 6 days and 6 nights.
With camping, yes.
Wow, that's good.
So it's not ridiculous, but it is a bit. And it's probably, I don't know how comparable it is to any other festival and any other site. But we get, our tickets are subsidized, and we get them at a discount because we are full fee paying stall holders anyway. So everyone who attended, any one of the 8 practitioners and the 5 students, they paid a small amount. Do you want to know the amount? $135. So that's how much we contributed to our costs. And then we just had our own personal costs to get there and back, camp, and our own food and beverage. And if you wanted to buy stuff there, because there's lots of stall holders there selling stuff, you want funky New Year's Eve clothing with decorations and glitter, well, you could get that there.
And did you buy some for yourself? I can see you in a bit of glitter. You look like a fun guy that would do that. Get dressed up and get with a program.
Well, I was moshing around in the mud.
Were you? Oh,
it's La Nina for the 3rd year in a row. So we were expecting it to be somewhat wet, and it's otherwise very dry. And so a lot of the paths are dust and dirt, not paved or asphalt. So it turns to mud.
Oh,
so
fun.
most appropriate footwear was gumboots. It was warm, so it's not as though it gets cold when it's rain. It's not like, other states. So it's very warm, and you don't mind. In fact, one season I went there, they had the mud people who were members of the public who attended, who decided, okay, for 6 days, I'm just going to get muddy and just stay muddy and be muddy, 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 muddy all the time. And they had fun, and they were just kind of like one of the get your freak on people who were there.
Probably good for their skin, apparently. Mud's good for your skin. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, because it's a very family-orientated, friendly place. Yes, there's alcohol for sale and people smoke other bits and pieces, but it's not crazy young people doing ridiculous things, making real jokes of themselves. I've never seen any violence. I've never seen even any sexism or racism. It's very harmonious. It's all peace, love, and cupcakes.
Well, as you're talking about this, I'm like, I'm sitting here, my brain's ticking over, thinking, how can I convince my husband to go this year? Because he's an ex-police officer in South Africa, so crowds are not his thing. I'm like, ooh, but so if you say you haven't seen violence or anything like that there, that's really good to know.
They have a medical clinic there. They have police who walk the beat. They have security guards who walk the beat. But I've never seen in 14 seasons I've been there, I've never seen anything untoward or problematic. I mean, the worst thing is if you manage to get a cold shower. I had 4 hot showers in 6 days, 2 cold showers.
That's not too bad.
So that's the worst I can complain of, 2 cold showers.
Yeah. And was it tricky for you to get homeopaths to come and help? And was it just homeopaths in that tent, or did you have any other naturopathic advice that you were giving there? And were you selling remedies and kits and things like that as well?
When AHA Queensland ran it, it was exclusively homeopathy. So when ATMS picked it up, I was thinking, I wonder what else would go well with homeopathy at Woodford. So in 2019, we had acupuncture, which is an Eastern form of homeopathy, a Western form. You might have read something I wrote a while ago. In principle, homeopathy and acupuncture are the same thing. They go about moving chi, moving vital force different ways, and it's got different, cultural issues, but essentially they're the same. So I thought that would go well together, and it really did. We had 1 acupuncturist per shift. We had 3 acupuncturists. And fortunately or not, the public seem to know that word acupuncture more than they know the word homeopath. So it would get them in. And then they would, look, that's crazy. They would have an acupuncture treatment, get off the table, and have a homeopathic treatment. I don't know about that. Anyway, this season, we advertised for acupuncturists, and there were none suitable who applied. So we said, okay, let's see if we can get them in just with homeopathy. And guess what? We did even better just with homeopathy this season than we did last season, trying acupuncture and homeopathy. So no, we didn't have any naturopathic, herbal, or chiropractic or anything else. We were just purely homeopathy. And we made a decision. We would not sell anything, partly because of our insurance policy. Couldn't. And we wondered, well, will we be just as popular as we were last season, 2019, without acupuncture? And we were. How can I tell? By the donations. We made more donations this season, just homeopathy, than last season with acupuncture and homeopathy. I love acupuncture, and I was trying to broaden our appeal. And as president of ATMS, although I'm a fanatical homeopath, I've got 20 different modalities that I'm simpatico with. I thought, I wonder what else we could do. And it worked last season, but not this season, but not to any detriment. Even with the weather, even with the mud, I think what made a difference was our position. In real estate, that's important. Our tent was right on the corner of where the main gate opens up. And right across the road from the Children's Festival, and right next door to one of the major venues called Cirque, CIRQUE, like circus with a Q. So we had an excellent position. So we didn't feel as though our lack of external signage, we had some, but not plastered, meant that everyone walking in would see us. And some people knew what homeopathy was, and if they didn't, they'd say, "Oh, what's homeopathy?" And so that gave everyone working reception an opportunity to say, "Well, this is what it is. This is what we do. Would you like a consultation? It's free. You're welcome to make a donation." And it was relatively fast and dirty. Dirty because of the mud, fast because we never turned anyone away, but we were supposed to say we were mainly addressing simple problems. But 45,000 people, how many simple problems do you think there were? Not that many when they walk in our door. So everything from the simplicity of a hangover to the complexity of endometriosis. That's not simple. So, we would try and do something in 15 minutes, 30 minutes, because we had people waiting. So we had to work fast, work hard, work quick. So none of this, one of the students said she was used to spending 30 hours per case.
Oh, wow.
Right. And I thought, very pleasing, very good for your learning. But here, we just ain't got the time. We have to be more pragmatic, get them in, get them out, move them on. So we had our own dispensary and we gave away the medicines. We gave away our time. But look, my biggest donation from one customer on one consultation was $100.
Oh.
Right. So we had these Perspex boxes that were clear, transparent, with a nice little message above them saying lovely things about give generously so we can come back. And people will put notes in. You know what a lobster is, what a pineapple is, $20 notes, $50 notes. So we got lots of lobsters and lots of pineapples.
Oh, amazing. And was it hard for you to get homeopaths to come on board? Because I saw some in one of the Facebook groups. I saw it was posted there around October-ish or so, if you're interested in volunteering your time, get in touch. Did you get a lot of homeopaths? Was it easy for you to find people to volunteer, or was it a bit tricky?
No, it's not. That's our hardest issue, is to get enough prackies and students, because we were hoping to have 9 prackies and 9 students. So if I got 8 and 5, you can tell things changed, because some people got sick, some people had better opportunities, some were traveling overseas to take care of other folk. So we just had to adjust the roster and make the night shift a little light, because we saw most of our clients in the morning. So that was great. Great outcomes, all sorts of problems. We had do you want to know about the unusual new novel thing that we tried?
Yes, please. My next question was, what sort of things did you see there, and what was it like?
Well, as I say, we saw anything, everything, young and old, in between. But what we did that was novel and different is one of my pet topics. You know that a homeopathic prescription is made up of 2 parts. There's the remedy selection, the simillimum, and there's lots of guidance and methodologies about that. The other half of the prescription is the dose, the potency, the how to take it. And there's almost no guidance on that. And I think I've got a solution. And that is choose the simillimum and then give that remedy in a homochord of multiple potencies of the same remedy, but at different potencies, in the one bottle. And most people are familiar with what I call the Kentian ladder potencies, like 6, 12, 30, 200, 1M, 10M, 50M, CM, MM, and 10mm, etc. So for 25 years, I've been using homochords like that. But you might have heard of Dr. Joe Rosenwag, who for the last 10 years has been using the Fibonacci series. He starts at 3C, 5.
Would it be 8 next? Is it plus the one before
13,
that?
21, 34, 55, 89, 144, 233C. So up to 10 different centesimal potencies selected according to the Fibonacci series in one bottle. So a Fibonacci series homochord of centesimal potencies of the one remedy in the one bottle.
That is really cool. So it would take a lot of that dosing out of the way, or the
So there's
The
none of this
posology.
guessing, oh, shall I give 30C? Shall I give 10 amp? We just put that in, a few drops of a stock bottle that contains all of those 10 potencies in a liquid base, a few drops into a 600 ml bottle of water, put the lid on, put a label on, give them a letter to take away so they have a medical record, and tell them to sip off it. Now, because we're at Woodford and we have no liquor license, we could not put a preservative of the usual brand
Oh,
in
interesting.
the bottle. So that's why we said, okay, if you've got a medicated bottle of water, we want you to finish that in 24 hours, please, because we don't want you drinking old water. So it would be safe and prudent to finish this bottle in 24 hours. So see how many sips you can get out of that 600 ml bottle of water in 24 hours. It's kind of a little mini challenge. 20 sips, 50 sips, 100 sips. Sip, 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 sip. Succuss between each dose. So each dose is different. And come and see me tomorrow, 24 hours later, and give me a report on how are you going, because I want to know the efficacy of a Fibonacci series home accord of the similimum in 24 hours, right? So we
Water
had
dosing.
days to get the feedback. I mean, if you came on the 6th day, we're not going to get a lot of feedback. But if you came on the first day, I potentially could see them 6 times in 6 days, if they came once a day, to see, well, what's the trend? How are they going? And my record was I had a lady with an acute infectious disease, unmentionable, begins with C. And she came in the morning. I gave her gelsemium and a Fibonacci series home accord. And she came back 2 hours later, said, all my symptoms are gone. I'm fixed. Feel better.
That's cool.
And walked out the door, paid a generous donation in our donation box. Thank you very much.
Amazing. And if you've invested that money and you're not just there by yourself, you're there with friends or family, and you get sick and you have to go home, it just spoils everyone's plans. So
Well,
if you can actually save her time,
yes,
it's just so valuable. You can't put a money amount on that.
That's why the Woodford Folk Festival used to sponsor us, because they saw we provided an essential service to keep the patrons on the site, because if they're on the site, they're going to be enjoying themselves, they're going to be spending money, going to venues, having fun, food and beverage. That's what they want, sales of all the stall holders. But Woodford has had tough times. They've approached financial critical issues. They've had significant funding from to do with the Moreton Bay Shire, so they're afloat, but it's a little tricky for them to make sure they stay afloat, because this they had 2 years off. So this Woodford wasn't as populated by stall holders as usual. There were probably maybe 50 less stalls than I'm used to, and they have maybe 200 stalls anyway, 300 stalls. And they didn't use their main amphitheater except for the fire ceremony, the closing ceremony. So they kept their performance spaces a little smaller, and they said that they had capped their ticket sales so that they could do the appropriate distancing.
Interesting.
So they were trying to make it all go well. And I saw a few people wearing masks, but most didn't. And we had people with infectious diseases, but nothing too terrible. So I mean, tick bites, muzzy bites, blisters from your gumboots, stomach upsets, headaches. But you know what? One of the practitioners, we had a debriefing at the end. She said what was really striking for her was mental health.
Oh.
She'd been at Woodford helping us in the past, and she said compared to her previous visits, what struck her was how many clients came in with mental health issues more than usual. So we were able to deal with that.
Beautiful.
Whether it's anxiety, depression, I mean, how much of that's going around, whether it's insomnia, whether it's grief and bereavement, we saw a lot of that. Oh, and DV, domestic violence.
Really?
Yes.
Far out. So you really, really saw it all. And I'm so excited about you thinking to use the Fibonacci home accords in the water dosing. That's absolutely genius.
Yes. So I would give that to them, at 10 o'clock in the morning. They'd
Mm.
come back 24 hours later, 10 a.m. the next day, and say, I'm 50% better, I'm 80% better,
Oh,
I'm 10% better, or whatever. And I say,
yeah.
great. Okay, how did that go? Discuss the direction of cure.
Mm.
What's the healing journey been like? Where are they up to? Do we need to change the remedy or more of
Mm.
the same? Give them another bottle. Come back the next day. Oh, I'm 80% better. I'm
Mm.
95% better. I'm 100% better. I think, great, good. Thank you very much. And I'd have a student sitting with me and I say, did you learn this? We'd have a debriefing session with a student, giving the maximum education opportunity for the students.
Mm.
That because they get it all explained. If
Of
they haven't
course.
got a fabulous grasp on everything, I can help
Mm.
them out that. So
And get their CPD hours sorted as well,
yeah,
which is
yes,
wonderful.
because some of the education providers in Australia recognise doing
Mm.
hours at Woodford with us can be credited towards the required hours for their
Absolutely.
advanced diploma. So
And which materia medicas or repertories did you take with you? Did you take mostly books or your laptops, or what were you doing?
time to open a book.
Okay.
Because I'd finish a client, go to a reception, give them a piece of paper, and she could be the piece of paper for the next person. Go
Oh,
and sit down.
wow.
Here we go. So, uh, fortunately, I've been doing this for 35 years. I've got a few remedies in my head. I've got
Mm.
a bit of repertory memorized. I might know my way around, at least the polycrests. How many of
Mm.
those? I told you I took 58 remedies with me. And we had another dispensary as well. We had the dispensary that we've been using for the last 14 years, 13 years as well. So the practitioners could choose, or if the remedy wasn't in the Fibonacci series,
Mm.
but it was in our other ones, like the nosobe we use for tick bites. It begins with X,
Mm.
exotides or something. I can't remember
Yeah.
how. So we didn't have that in the Fibonacci series, but we had it as 30C, 200C, etc. So we would use that.
Mm.
And yeah, so if any of the practitioners had never been exposed to the opportunity to prescribe a
Mm.
Fibonacci Homochord, they had
Mm.
6 days to try it. And some did, and some didn't, and some
Mm.
chopped and changed, and that's up for them to tell you. But that's all I prescribed was the
Mm.
Fibonacci Homochords in water.
Mm.
And my experience was excellent.
That's very cool. Well, Dr. Joe will be so happy to hear you say that.
Well, and the only thing that I can think of that's different is Dr. Joe calls them plasma potencies.
Mm.
I call them homochords. That's
Mm.
the word that has been used since 1911. If you look up
Mm.
Yasgur's homeopathic dictionary under potency, he talks about homochords being used for a long time.
Ah.
So
So I guess what would you say was the overall vibe of this homeopathic stall that you had there during this festival? What was the overall vibe from the people that used the service and from the homeopaths there?
the overall vibe was that we were delivering miracles by the minute, by the hour. Clients, I can think of a client came in. She used to be a ballet dancer since she was 3. She got out of ballet dancing and turned into a farmer doing permaculture, organic, wonderful things, but had been badly messed up by fires, storms, floods, and cows who ate all her product. And so she was in a pretty bad shape. She was worn out, basically, physically and mentally. And she was finding it very difficult to move. I prescribed her causticum, and she came back the next day and she said, actually, I enjoyed wiggling my bum. I could move my back enough to wiggle my bum. And my
Oh.
hands, I can now make a fist. I couldn't do that yesterday. I can actually close my hands and make a fist because I wore my hands out doing what I've done in the last 2 years farming, and it's worn me out.
Oh.
And I could sleep. I slept through the night, and I haven't been able to do that, blah, 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 right? So she thought that in 24 hours to get that much improvement, not 100%, but I don't know, pick a number, 40% improvement in a day. Then I gave her another bottle of causticum, and you can imagine how the rest of the story goes fabulously.
And she could probably laugh without wetting herself as well, being causticum.
Another case, anonymously, a professional man, senior, with long COVID. He'd become ill about 4 months ago and had spent a significant amount of money with conventional Western medicine with no progress. His wife told him to come and see us, so he did. Good job. And I put it to him that it could be this and that. That was the reason for his illness. And we gave him some isodes, you know what they are, of what had compromised him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you too much detail because we're not allowed to, but you can figure it out if you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back after.
So isopath, the giving the remedy made from the medicine that caused the problem.
We can't say rude things about conventional immunizations and vaccinations, but I might. I'm allowed to, so I didn't say that. And I saw him once. I gave him one bottle, those medicines in there, a Homeopath again.
I'm impressed you had that there.
Yes, I was prepared because I thought we're going to have a lot of people never well since.
Yeah.
Y and Z. So I had all these ready for something beginning with A, something beginning with P, something beginning with M.
Very smart of you. That's very smart taking that along. That's good foresight.
As well as something beginning with C and ending with 19.
Mm-hmm. And that's a nosode.
That's right. He came back in 72 hours and said, 80% of my brain fog is gone, 70% of my general functionality.
Amazing.
I am feeling like I can go back to work, and I haven't been able to work for months. And for a professional person, I mean, this is the cliche. About your health, what have you got? So he returned to health. Was very pleasing, and he made a very generous donation into our donation box.
Well, I'm glad you used code words because I have had 2 of my videos removed from YouTube for using those words, and I have also been suspended from YouTube for 3 months.
Well, you said you were in the naughty box for a while.
Yeah, in the naughty box. I'm so annoyed. Well, so my goodies are on Rumble instead now, but it's most people use YouTube, so I was not very happy about that. But yeah, good job on the code words, Peter.
Yes.
And so if people because I'm already thinking, where do I sign up for this year? Where can people get in touch if they, or when do you start putting the call out for practitioners and students to volunteer their time for this event?
On Facebook, we have a closed Facebook group called Woodford Folk Festival Homeopathy. So you have to apply and get admitted. We've got about 100 just over 100 subscribers. So these are the regular folk who we are regular communication with. And so if anyone wants to join in on that so that we can speak of things without getting in too much trouble. And so, that's where we put the call out. I also put a call out via one of ATMS's communication channels. It's called Wise and Well. And I asked for volunteers, and we got a few students and a few practitioners that way. Some came up from Sydney, for example. A lot of them were relatively local to Queensland. I don't think we've had any from Victoria for a while, and I don't think any from Western Australia ever.
Well, we'll have to fix that.
It's the flights. I mean,
yeah,
it's the crazy flights and so on. But if you happen to be over our way in Queensland, I mean, it's a good reason. If you've got, I mean, I can think of people I know who live in Queensland but have family back in Perth. And they're going to make their way back and forth now and then. So if you've got reason to come to Queensland for the 27th of December every year, and you're a homeopath or a student, or even a naturopath student, or a naturopath who feels competent in your acute prescribing, heck, and even chronic prescribing, to work hard and fast, contact me. My ATMS email address is... I can mention it. It's peter.berryman@atms.com.au. Send me an email.
Perfect.
That's a generic ATMS email address. It's not my private email address, so I don't mind if you send that to that. That'll get to me.
Excellent.
Mandy Heritage was the other major assistant, and Genevieve Anderberg. So we were the kind of 3 on the committee, organizing things, doing the roster, paying bills, getting tents organized, blah, blah, blah. So shout out to Mandy and Genevieve if you're listening, as well as all the students and the prackies that came along. And I obviously a shout out to all the people who've helped us in the past, particularly from Queensland AHA and ATMS, our fabulous sponsor, this year and our last season in 2019. So
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the bottom line, because with those funds, we can be confident of being able to provide this yet again next season and the season after. So we're not exactly self-funding 100%, but that's our aspiration. So we've had 2 seasons with ATMS support, but we didn't use all that they provided. We underspent by $1,200 on what they provided. So
Wonderful.
we have to do our acquittal, and we have to do a write-up of what we did and so on. So I've yet to present that to the ATMS board, but they should be very pleased. We didn't spend all the money, and we made.
And you are now in your 7th year as president of ATMS, and there's a new election coming up. It'll be probably like a day or so after this podcast coming out. So wishing you all the best for another year. ATMS certainly seems to be thriving under your leadership, and you're right there, literally in the trenches, in the mud, doing the work. So you're a fabulous leader.
Right. I'm not one of these, armchair pontificating philosophers. I'm actually out there in the field, getting dirty, working hard, doing my shift, behaving myself, doing good work. It's great. So, I mean, I love it. I'm a fanatical homeopath. I see excellent results there. I see excellent results in my private practice. I kind of feel, with your assistance, Eugenie, with what you're doing for homeopathy in Australia, and particularly Western Australia, I feel there's a new renaissance, a bit of a boom coming on, with your colleagues, and over here in Queensland, my colleagues, what I know is going on in other state capitals. I feel that homeopathy is getting back on the map.
I am actually getting goosebumps as you are saying that, because I feel exactly the same, and I'm feeling it even stronger this year. I'm just with every fiber of my being think that this is going to be the year for homeopathy. I can see really, and the amount of emails that I'm getting and the amount of Facebook groups that I'm in of people saying, I'm wanting to study homeopathy. This is the year that I'm going to study it. I'm like, yes, do it. We need more homeopaths. So I really feel that this is going to be the year. It's going to be a big one to look back on and say, yes, this was the year that homeopathy really got its feet back on the ground again and got back in there and changed people's lives. So,
well, that's why ATMS are proud to sponsor this homeopathic clinic. We've got 20 modalities. Why sponsor a homeopathic clinic? Because it's an important modality, and it needs that support. And the people who go to Woodford are our tribe. Families, switched on people, woke people, politically sensitive, socially inclined folk. And so they are our audience. It's not as though we're trying to preach to, I don't know, conservatives who don't like us. All of these folk were potentially our excellent customers. And I think that's what we have in our favor, Eugenie, is that the Australian public love what we do. They love a good outcome, and we have the capacity to generate great outcomes, and I'm working towards that with what I described about the Fibonacci homochords. I think I've, dare I say, solved the posology problem. All you need to know is find the similinum, pitch your posology this way, follow the trends. Trends will tell you how successful or not you are, and if you reach a plateau, change your remedy. You don't have to worry about potency anymore. It's fixed. And thanks to Dr. Joe Rosenwag for bringing that in 10 years ago. But who's doing it? You would know. You got your ear to the ground.
Yeah, not that many. And I know every time I chat with Joe, he's like, are you using the Fibonacci's? Are you using the Fibonacci's? I'm like, well, I've got 1,800 just normal 30C and 200C remedies. I was like, I should switch over, I know, but then I'm also, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that, Peter, because with doing this podcast, I'm constantly thinking, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm at that place now where I'm actually really happy with how I'm practicing, and I know it will change, and it's always changing, but just with where I'm at now, I'm in a happy place. So don't tell Joe.
There's a homeopathic pharmacy in Aotearoa.
Yes.
We can get these.
Similimum.
Yes, I'm glad. I didn't know whether I was allowed to say that word.
Yes, of course, similimum. And I have been hassling Mike to come on the show so many times. So if anyone is listening to this that's working with Mike, just like give him a little pat on the shoulder and say, get back to you, Jeannie. I've been working on it to try and get him on the show, but I love Similimum. And even if I have clients in New Zealand, instead of posting remedies to them, I'll always say, go to Similimum. And, Celine Homeopathics is lovely too, also in New Zealand. But Mike has got all those Fibonacci potencies, and I know Joe is always hounding him to make more Fibonacci potencies. So I know he's got a good thing going there.
That's right. Mike sent me a list of over 100 different remedies that he had in, up to 10 different Fibonacci potencies. So I've ordered, I don't know, about 60 of them for my own clients.
Okay, well, I'll send Mike an email as well and get some Fibonacci's and start playing with them. You've twisted my arm.
Well, I don't know how you feel about posology being arguably the weakest link in a prescription. I mean,
I agree. It's hard. I since doing this podcast, I've become a lot stronger with my intuition. So where I used to toss it and worry a little bit about posology, I don't actually worry about that anymore. I feel really confident when I'm prescribing now when it comes. Yeah,
but
that's
the minimum and the potency dosage.
Usually but now that I've said that, I probably jinxed myself. So, but no, I agree. It does sound like you've solved the posology issue. I would be keen to try it out. And I unashamedly will say to my clients, because many of them have been with me for several years, and they know that I like to try lots of different stuff. And I'll say to them, hey, I've got these new remedies that I'm trying out. I'm going to give it to you as free because I want you to test it for me. And a lot of them know a lot about homeopathy. They prescribe it for themselves. So a lot of them are really happy to test things out for me. So I'm happy to go order some Fibonacci potencies, throw it at a few of my clients that I know understand homeopathy and get them to give me some feedback. And maybe we can do a follow-up episode in a few months' time and I'll tell you how I went.
Almost every prescription I make for my private clients is a Fibonacci homocard. I might pick it up with this and that and the other, but it's typically a Fibonacci homocard of the 60 remedies I've got. So I haven't got anything terribly
cool. I actually now that our biggest listenership is actually in America, and the American listenership actually triples our Australian listenership now, with UK very closely behind us, and then Ireland and Canada. So I know that I'm going to get a bunch of emails and messages from our listeners in America and the UK asking where they can get Fibonacci potencies from. So do you happen to know if Helios has the homocords? And I'm not sure who in America they would contact, like Hahnemann Labs or something like that.
No, the only because I've known Mike Dong in Similimum Pharmacy, Wellington, New Zealand for, I don't know, 20 years. Mike has been fabulously supportive of homeopathy in New Zealand for a long time. As you know, I worked as academic manager of the institution that teaches homeopathy in New Zealand. And Mike used to come along and give guest lectures on homeopathic pharmacy. And
he did. He actually came up all the way from Wellington when I was studying, came all the way up to Auckland, and he was selling the Radar Opus software at that time. So he showed us how it worked, and he brought a whole bunch of books, a whole bunch of remedies, traveled all that way to come and see us students and just, educate us. So I have a lot of respect for him.
He supported the development of his staff when they were students. So I've done courses in New Zealand where Mike has sponsored his staff to come and get some education so that when they return to his pharmacy in Wellington, they know what they're talking about. They're up to date. They're on the cutting edge. So Mike's incredible for New Zealand homeopathy. So look, if this is a plug for Mike, and you're anywhere else other than New Zealand, in Australia, America, UK, whatever, look, I buy medicines from Helios as well. So I'm not fixed on where I get my medicines from. I don't know anywhere else at the moment that I can get these from.
Yeah.
I feel that they make a big difference.
Well, I thought I would put it out there because otherwise I know that if we talk about these sorts of things, our listeners end up emailing and asking. We've got a Facebook group as well now, which I think you might be into, the Homeopathy Hangout podcast Facebook group, where our listeners can ask questions. If we mentioned something in an episode and they're not sure what we said or want to find out more information, it's a good place for them to ask those questions. And I know that if I don't ask you these questions, they're going to be asking me that. But yeah.
One question Joe will ask me, he'll say, what the blazes are you doing putting all of those potencies in one bottle? Because he typically does not do that all the time. I do it all the time. And he would typically start with 3C That's his first prescription. Then give 5C as a second prescription, and so on and so forth. And eventually, when he gets to the 10th prescription, 233C, somewhere between 3C and 233C, he expects something profound, the direction of cure to be invoked and progress to be obvious. But I'm thinking, what a lot of time there is between 3C and 230. If there's 10 different prescriptions, how long does it take to do that? I do that in one prescription, and it doesn't work. I know that fairly quickly, and I could change the remedy, because it's not the potency that's let me down, it's the remedy selection. So if I'm ever in that pickle, not often, but if I've made a mistake on the similimum, then I change the remedy quickly, and then I get on track quickly, and I'm not wasting time. Because, look, to put it bluntly, patients want results yesterday.
Yeah.
They don't give me a lot of. I know, Eugenie, I've heard you say, you tell clients, give me months to get things moving along. My clients don't give me months. They give me 1 to maximum 3 prescriptions. And if they aren't enlightened and moving and seeing rapturous improvement within a few prescriptions, they quit.
It obviously, I mean, it depends on the case, obviously, as well, and how chronic the case is, how long they've had it, and all that. But certainly, if I take on a new, because I closed my books like 1.5 years or 2 years ago, so it's very rare that I take on new clients. But when I do, I have a big stern chat with them beforehand. And if it's a case like autism, I will say to them, you need to promise me that you're going to stick with me for at least a year, because there's so much that we have to do, and so like. The thing is that this is going into a whole other conversation. I'm not saying you're not going to see nothing for the first year, and then by year you'll see something. You're going to see something all along the way, every single time. But to really have that magic happen, you need to invest the time for something. This is more for my cases with autism. Obviously, if it's like a simple case like eczema, or mind you, eczema is not even that simple. But some of those things, it's going to be much quicker, and sometimes in the first prescription they'll come back and they'll say, I'm cured. But especially more for the really chronic cases, I'll make sure that they know that they need to, if they come on board with me, they need to stick with me for a year, so we can really get down to the nitty-gritty of it.
Can I give you an anecdote of an autism case I saw today?
Yes.
A 4-year-old girl. I started treating her a month ago, and in 1 month, 40% improvement, says the mother.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
one
cool.
Prescription.
And was that a Homeopath that you used?
Yes, of course. As I told you, I can't say every, but probably every prescription I've been making for the last 2 years are Fibonacci Homeopaths. For the last 25 years, I've been using the Kent ladder potency Homeopath. So I've been doing. I mean, if you do a literature review of what do other authors say about Homeopaths, they say they're superior. They're more powerful and more gentle at the same time.
Well, you know what's going to happen now. You've gone and done it. Mike's going to get inundated with emails for Homeopaths. and Joe will be so happy.
You might be having some more staff to cope with, and fostering their educational development. So that's good for Mike in Wellington, New Zealand.
It is. Well, now I'm going to have to get him on the show now before I release this one. Otherwise, he'll be too busy to come on the show. And I've been trying to get him on for like a year. So I'm going to go hassle him right now. Peter, it was so fun to have a chat with you. Thank you so much for getting in touch. I really hope that I can see you at the end of the year. It'll be so fun to go along to the festival.
Volunteer and come and work in the mud with us at
I love it.
Woodford has got a nickname. It's called Mudford.
Mudford. Awesome.
You only have to do 1 shift a day, and then you get the rest of the day off. So you can party all night. We just have some rules about rocking up clean, fresh, smelling nice, sober, and shaved and whatever, so that you look professional and good for the public. We had ATMS t-shirts, polo shirts to wear for a uniform, and so we had a reasonably professional image in the middle of the mud at the front gate.
Do you reckon I could get away with wearing my I have a remedy for that t-shirt?
Well, if the Homeopathy Hangout wants to sponsor us, give us some t-shirts, a little financial gratuity
contribution. Okay, we might have to talk. Let's stop the recording so we can have another discussion. Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter. It was super fun having a chat with you.
You're not going to ask me your favorite ending question?
Oh, no, I stopped that one about 100 episodes ago.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was number 22. I mean,
Was that the first? Was that your favorite three remedies question?
yes, and I said I've fallen into the trap of having one, and that was the Carcinosinum T58.
Yes. Which actually, I had a lot of people email me after that episode asking where did they get that from? The
Ah,
carcinosinum
well,
T58 Fibonacci homochord.
Mike Dong has got it,
Yeah.
and that's where I've got it from, and
Mhm.
it's so amazing.
Mhm.
It's but you can figure out.
Yeah. People will have to listen back to that because I think it was about episode 20 you were on last, and
22. I
that was
checked.
130 episodes ago.
So have I got a new favorite remedy since then? Tell you what I've been learning a lot about recently, syphilinum.
Mm.
So, just to spice it up a bit, than good old fashioned Carcinosinum T58. Syphilinum is it's often my unblocking prescription. The cliche in homeopathy is when the well-indicated remedy fails, consider a noso. So I've been trying something recently where I give the unblocking prescription in the evening and the similimum in the morning.
Cool.
If it's like causticum in the morning, syphilinum at night, causticum in the morning, syphilinum. So I'm unblocking and giving the well-indicated remedy at the same time. Why do I do that? Because of business pressure, basically. Clients want to be better, and they won't give me 6 months to getting around to exhausting and finding causticum failing and then giving syphilinum. So I alternate them. It's a bit like Hahnemann doing Rus tox and Bryonia in alternation, not in the same bottle, in alternation at different times of the day. And it hastens the issue of timeliness, because not only do we have to give the right remedy in the right potency, but we have to be small businessmen and women. And there's all this business pressure on performance. So how do I cope with that? I just told you one of my favorite coping mechanisms.
Well, I've loved syphilinum for a while now after Hilary Dorian's lecture on eczema, where she uses this for eczema where the kids scratch their skin raw while they're sleeping at night. And I started using that, and I'd give it at nighttime to these kiddies. So I'd have, something like Morgan Bark 30 in the morning, and then I'd give syphilinum at night. And just the relief that you find for these families is just unbelievable, because often the parents have to sleep holding the child because the child will just rip their skin apart at nighttime and the sheets are full of blood the next morning. You give them syphilinum at night before bedtime and it just completely eases that. But I've just been doing Colin Griffith's lectures, and actually just before we did this recording, I've just finished off another one of his lectures, and he is a huge fan of using what he calls triads. So he
yes.
the syphilinum 10
that's what I bought from Helios recently, some of his triads too. I've used some recently, his suggested potencies as well.
Yeah.
And they've worked.
They are so cool. I'm just having loads of fun with the triads at the moment.
With syphilinum,
thymus gland,
nosode, and then the well-indicated remedy.
Yes.
And that trilogy, that triad, it works. I haven't got time for an anecdote on that, but yeah, it works.
Very, very, very cool. Well, thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciated your time. I love that I could just message you and say, hey, want to chat? And you're just like, yes, let's do it. And we're on and done.
You said tomorrow. I've got a full book of clients. So this is evening here in my free space, free time. Otherwise, I'd say, sorry, I'm too busy. And you get the same Mike Dong fob off for a year.
Well, actually, I am literally going to go and email him right this second and say, Peter said that you have to come on the show.
Right, and plug in business, because if you're allowed to mention a commercial thing like that, then that's good for him. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I've loved being a ATMS member, and you actually inspired me to register with ATMS after you were on the show last time. So thank you very much for the work that you do.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much, Eugenie. And good night to everyone listening. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be. Cheers.
Sayonara.